Hello, all you Wookiee warriors. How's it going? So I wasn't able to get to the lighthouse today. It was pretty windy today. I mean, no rain and no storm, but it was windy. So, we'll see what the weather's like next weekend. So I figured I'd go over from the suggestion given to me by my brother Dom. What was my favorite top 10 video games for the PS4 and PS5? And it was hard because I wanted to add Assassin's Creed, but I figured if I added all the Assassin's Creed, I would have to choose one out of all of them, and I like each one of them. So, I thought long and hard about it, and so I'm going to go over each one and why. So I figured I'd start with probably the very first. It's in here. So I figured I'd start with my first one. I wish I would have organized these when I stacked them on my desk, which should come to no surprise to anyone. Bloodborne. It was the first real PS4 game I got. As I am a Souls player. I love Dark Souls. I love the Souls franchise, and Bloodborne is one of my favorite Souls games, next to the original Dark Souls. For one, the combat was a good combination and something new, something different. Whereas like in Dark Souls, you want to be more passive, aggressive. In this one, you want to be aggressive. Like, you just want to go in there and just mess things up right away. And I love the story. Like what it what was based around was H.P. Lovecraft. London. Kind of a dark tone to it. I mean, don't get me wrong. All the games have kind of the dark tone, but this one took place more like, I would say, like a Van Helsing kind of a deal. It took place in like Victorian London, kind of like you're Van Helsing looking for a cure for this disease, this nightmare. So it's one of my favorites, and and when I get to play this game, is like nothing else I can see. Nothing else I will play except for this. I love this game. I've played it so much. I'm like, I can easily say I've dumped without looking at my console, maybe like 100 or so hours into this game, or at least hundreds of hours into this game. So my next one, oddly enough, I'm gonna bring this one up, and it's more of a newer title. I would say not newer titles, but it's been out for at least, I want to say, 2 years. Is The Sinking City, and I was shocked when I went to the store, because I was going to trade this in for a little bit of cash, but it turned out that they don't accept these trade-ins anymore. And I'm like, what? Why? Is because this game did terrible. The game did so terrible that you can't trade it at stores. Like, you could probably sell it online but it's like, why? I love this game. This game was based off an H.P. Lovecraft, I believe, story. And to me, like, there was one other game that's pretty much exact duplicate of this. I can't remember the name of the title right off the bat right now. Call of Cthulhu. Just remembered it. It is pretty much this, but this one has a little bit of a different take, has a little bit of different aspects to it than Call of Cthulhu did. Um, kind of a little bit of a different, not entirely different, but there's a little bit of a different points throughout the story. It's been a while since I played this, so please forgive me if I don't remember everything perfectly. But I really did love this game. The graphics, the story, definitely the gameplay. It kept me engaged all the way through. I might actually bring this back this year for Horror Fest. It's a really good game. The next one I want to discuss. I think I'm gonna just do this in kind of like some kind of order. The next one, I'm gonna. I hope Dom doesn't get upset with me, but is Neo. Not just one, and I also loved 2. But since I'm only limited to 10 games, I hope I can include 1 and 2 in my my likes, because both games were absolutely phenomenal. Definitely challenged. The second one was like they lived up to their name during the E3. It's like, hey, the gloves are coming off, and I agree. The gloves did come off on Neo 2. Because I even had a hard time, and I'm a Souls veteran. Like, I've played Dark Souls, I've played Bloodborne, I've played Demon Souls, I've played Neo, I've played Sekiro, and Neo 2 was difficult for me. I look forward to playing these games again. One of the things that brought me to Neo in the first place was, one, it was not From Software that developed this. It was Team Ninja. You guys are not familiar with Team Ninja. Team Ninja was the ones that created not Assassin's Creed. Sorry, I have Assassin's Creed on the brain because I've been playing it nonstop. Was the ones who developed Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden is one of my favorite games. Although I'll admit I've never played the originals. I've played only the remakes. So that's Ninja Gaiden Sigma, Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, and Ninja Gaiden 3. But when I heard that they were taking like their own kind of Souls formula to it, I was like, okay, I want to see what this is like. Because I am one of the hardest critics when it comes to people saying, oh yeah, we're doing a Souls game. Because not everyone can pull off a Souls game. I've discovered. And Neo does a very good job of delivering a story, bringing in interesting characters. One of the characters I actually knew because he was mentioned in a different game. Although this was more historically accurate than the one I remember. When I played Onimusha, I think it was Dawn of Dreams, when Tenkai was not his real name was Samanosuke Akechi, but he adopted the name Tenkai because he no longer wanted to. He was trying to hide who he really was, and maybe in the story he was also living with the shame that he couldn't stop the Onimusha, couldn't stop the Genma from putting a foothold. He was, I guess, logical term, he was too weak. He was old and weak during the junction of the game, although he kicks ass in the game. But in this one, it's more historically accurate. Tenkai was, he's a name that carries a lot of mystery because no one can't ever figure out who Tenkai really was. So I love that in the game that they brought him in here, and was able to fit him into the story. I love the fact that they bring in spirits. Some of them, like I can recognize. Some of them are just awesome looking. Art detail in the game. The story keeps you engaged. You know, you are. What was his name? I remember his first name, William Adams. There you go. Naturally, excuse me. In a historical standpoint, William Adams was an explorer who, according to history, he was the first American or Western samurai. And he developed trade between Japan and the West. But obviously, that's not the story we have here. I mean, William Adams was a sailor, a pirate, who was betrayed because I would say betrayed because he had ability to sense the Amrita and knew what the Amrita was being used for, so he was imprisoned. Then you go and try to escape, but in the story, your spirit gets taken, and you go on a quest to retrieve it. So I really love the story on Neo and Neo 2, but I'm not going to talk about Neo 2 since I don't have it in my selections here. But I love both of these games. Moving on. This should come to no surprise. This absolutely should not come to any surprise to anybody. Sekiro. Twice. I just mentioned it. The reason should be obvious why I love this game. I appreciate any game that is able to challenge me. If you guys were here for my very first time playing this game, I had such a hard time with so many of these bosses. I remember fighting Al for the very first time. He kicked my butt repeatedly, and it was not like you get much time to breathe, really, because after you fight Genichiro, beat Genichiro, you're like, oh yeah, I won. But nope. Well, you get to choose whether you fight him or not, but I chose to fight him because I chose to be the boy's guardian. And to him, he was like, you have betrayed me. We must fight. But there are so many hard bosses. Like, I had a hard time with Genichiro. I had a hard time with Ao. I don't think there's a lot of bosses in this game that I did not have a hard time with. Did I say didn't or didn't? I had a hard time with them. Anyway. But it didn't stop me from playing this game. I love it. Will I ever platinum this? Probably when I have the time to do so. But the story behind it was absolutely top-notch, beautiful. The graphics were absolutely beautiful. I love the combat in the system in this game, where it's not so much like you gotta be you have more damage. You have to have the most powerful weapons. Where in like Bloodborne and Dark Souls, the more powerful the weapon you have, the better you're gonna do in the game. But in this one, it's more about posture. Posture damage is what will win you the day. You can easily defeat your boss without doing posture damage, but it's just gonna take you a lot longer. But if you're able to do posture damage and max that out, you will get parries where like a little red dot will show up and you can do a lot of damage. Or actually, that's a finisher. I'm sorry. You can get a lot more damage when you do posture damage. Again, the story is absolutely amazing. You are a ninja. You are charged with protecting the boy who has the power of dragon rot, who shared it with you when you died. So you can always resurrect, but at the cost of other people's health. And I love that twist in the game where it's like, when you die, yes, you can resurrect, but someone else has to pay the consequences. Someone you met, a random person. Well, you'll start seeing these people have dragon rot. And the reason is because of you. So every time you die, you have to make that choice. Will you resurrect or just die? If you resurrect too many times, that's when the dragon rot starts infecting other people. And it affects the game as well. So I really do love that part of this game. And the fact that you get to have different, I'm just gonna say ninjutsu, jitsu abilities or prosthetic abilities. I really love the fact that you get to have all these cool prosthetics. Like you can take shurikens and toss them. You can use like the axe, the shield, to your advantage. You also get like this kind of like this pink confetti that you use to damage undead or ghost figures. I love that. And again, the bosses were really hard on me, and I appreciate that. So this is definitely on my top 10 today in this video. This is gonna be a long video because I'm not just gonna show you guys my video. That would be a quick video. I'm gonna be talking about each one of my video games. I'm trying to stay in order here. Here. Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, I love RPGs, and this is more like action-oriented RPG. For instance, like you have a massive world you can explore, and you have to take, like, when you defeat one of these mechanical monsters, you take their components and you use them to make or enhance your weapons concurrently. I love the story behind this game. Like you're the hero you are. Like all you wanted to do was be a warrior of the tribe, protecting. And there's a lot of. It feels like there's a lot more Nordic mythology behind this. Not like God of War or anything like that, but what I'm talking. You mean like how they prove themselves. Kind of like the warrioristic tribes and stuff like that. And how she goes on this big adventure to figure out why everything is happening, why are things progressing as they are, and we find out those answers. But I'm not gonna this is not a spoiler section. This is just me talking about the game. The graphics on this game are absolutely beautiful. There's definitely a lot of side activities like going up those giant giraffes. I think there's even like hunting missions. There's other side missions. There's even like an armor collection mission that you have to collect certain things to get those to open that vault, which gives you kind of like bulletproof armor. Yeah. Aside from that, I mean, just the massive open world you can explore is absolutely on par. It's beautiful. And the combat is absolutely amazing. I love it. Very different from what you would typically find. Well, maybe not. Maybe not so much different as maybe just presented in a fresh way. Because you even get like the ability to take control of some of these mechanical beasts and ride them around versus just killing them. Aside from that, absolutely amazing game. Definitely one of my top 10s. Oop, my games are about to fall off my desk. Let's go with... I'll stay in continuity order. Code Vein. Again, you're gonna probably find a lot of my favorite games are gonna be soul based, and this is kind of like anime soul based. I love the story behind it. Love the story, which actually got me intrigued because I heard this was very heavily inspired by God Eater, and I've never played any of the God Eaters, but I could definitely see how this is very similar to that. But I think it does take its own difference. Like it's not so much like I played God Eater. The one thing that irritated me, oop, I'm hitting my mic, kind of irritated me a little bit was that I had to go into every stage. There was not really much room to explore. Where as in Code Vein, there was more to it. It was like I was actually going through a dungeon and getting to the end, and I got to explore these worlds more than I got to do with God Eater. So I really do love that. Love that about this game. Definitely a lot more different mechanics than you are used to if you're a Souls player. Um, a lot of the weapons are different in this game than you're used to. You also get kind of like these capes or coats, which you can use in different kind of. I can't remember the exact name of them are, but you have ones that can turn into like two dogs. One that has like a giant tail. One that gives you kind of claw. No, I think it's claws. I'm trying to remember if it's a that coat or if it's a ability I'm thinking about. The story also is really cool. Is that um, is that it's basically a vampire story, but in this world, in the apocalypse, is that the world has dried up. There is no more blood to go around. There's these things called blood beads, which are a very hot commodity. Like they're very rare, um, and the world is dying. And you, as your character, was um, is trying to survive with your group and trying to find a cure for this world, why it's gone as it is. I definitely love that aspect of this game and investigating the memories of all the characters in this video game, because you actually can do that to investigate their memories, which unlocks you more abilities. I love the progression of the game, whereas you use the abilities more often, you can increase them. You also have to find verses, which unlocks more aspects to that. Unlocks different abilities, more abilities. I think that's pretty much it for Code Vein. Now, with my name being the Angry Wookiee Show, this should come as absolutely no surprise to anybody. I don't know if my camera's just all getting all screwed up or what. I hope you guys can see this. Star Wars: The Jedi Fallen Order. Absolutely fantastic game. And I'm coming from someone who hasn't pretty much touched Star Wars games since the Xbox. Well, aside from the PC, but we'll stick with the consoles. I was never much of a big fan of the shooter games like. I don't know why my camera's all blurry, guys. I don't know why. But I never was much a fan of the Battlefronts or Battlefields. I never was a fan of those. I liked the RPG and action aspect of the originals. Like KOTOR, KOTOR 2. If you guys are not familiar with KOTOR means, it means Knights of the Old Republic. I also like the game Star Wars Jedi Academy and Outcast. I haven't finished Outcast. I actually only got up to the first level. But Jedi Academy is like when the Luke Skywalker Academy was around, and it was like its prime, and you were a student, and you go on this big adventure. But going back to Jedi Fallen Order, I like the fact that they took like aspects, kind of like a Souls kind of formula to it, but also keeping it more to the traditional Star Wars. I mean, especially down to the story, where your character himself is a Jedi during the time where it was not a good time to be a Jedi, where anyone and everyone was pretty much incentivized to turn in Jedi. So you were pretty much living as a scrapper. You took apart old ships. You didn't use the Force. But in the game, one of your friends was about to die, and you used the Force to catch him. Therefore, revealing that you were a Jedi or a Force user. And your friend, tried to protect you and told you to run and leave me be. And you go on this big adventure to fight against the Inquisitors and the Empire. There's a lot of love in this game, a lot of cameos. The character himself is very interesting, very gripping. It's kind of like having a Luke Skywalker, but in a different personality. You know what I mean? Especially one of the other things I liked about was the little droid that sits on his shoulder. That was something we haven't seen in a lot of Star Wars games. Like the Star Wars games I mentioned, KOTOR, you're not really able to carry them on your shoulder. You have to have them, wheel around. So that was an interesting aspect. Also, I should say I love the platforming in the game, where you have to figure out where to go. Oh, there I go. I don't know why my camera keeps on going blurry. I don't know why. I do apologize for that, guys. I mean, there's not a lot of real space combat in the game, but for the combat we do get, I do like. Although there is a repetitiveness with the game, but my opinion on being repetitive, I mean, pretty much any game you go with, it's going to get repetitive at some point. Because the enemies are just going to keep on running the same enemies you're going to keep on running into. You're going to farm those enemies. So the biggest enemies you're going to really fight in this one are going to be stormtroopers. But there are creatures that will attack you as well. There are, when you get to different planets, there are different enemies that will attack you. So there is some variety to enemy types in this game. I definitely love the combat and how you can choose different styles, different force abilities. Well, actually, I don't know if you can choose different styles, but I think it's lightsaber abilities, and you actually eventually get a double lightsaber, which I personally prefer the single style lightsaber, but I don't mind. It's a Star Wars game. And I can't wait for the next one, which I'm told is being made, is in development too. My mouth is getting dry. Ghost of Tsushima is my next top 10. I absolutely love this game. If you guys are a fan of, like, you want to visit Japan, feudal Japan, with a compelling character. We've had a meme on this game. Like, every time we go, we made up the meme, the buns of seal. Because every time you go into a hot spring, he pretty much strips down. And the camera pretty much, you see the bun. You guys can imagine what the buns mean. But there's so much things you can find, you can explore, you can do in the game. Like, there's a test of skill where you have to chop a bamboo sword thing. And you do enough of those, you get a outfit or a sword. You can if you max out the when you can level up your armor, which changes its look. Like, my favorite one is the Ronin armor. Just the way it looks is absolutely cool. It's like looking at Raiden. But there's so many different outfits you can collect in the game. You have to do certain activities to get them, um, or even to level them up. There's swords you can collect. There's different There's riddles. There's so much you can do in the game. Not to mention the story itself is absolutely amazing. You meet so many different characters. The main character himself is part of a prominent family who his father is being held against his will by Mongolians, and he goes on a quest to save his uncle, who you have to gather forces. You gotta gather allies to help you in your quest to do so. At the very end of the game, you can choose to be the Ghost of Tsushima or die, essentially. Because it's complicated. But this is a really fantastic game, guys. I absolutely love playing it. I'm actually been hankering and playing. Just realized I had to, in case turn around. I've been wanting to play this for a little while again. But right now we're in the middle of doing Assassin's Creed, so I'll have to wait on this. Hey guys, so I guess this will be like a part 2. For whatever reason, my camera stopped recording while I was in mid video. So I was talking about Ghost of Tsushima as one of my top 10s. Why my Ghost of Tsushima is one of my top 10s is the graphics are absolutely beautiful. The combat in the game is absolutely fun and fluid. You can choose different styles to fight with, different stances. There's definitely a lot of things you can do in the game. There's like kind of like a treasure hunt you can do, kind of like a treasure hunt. You can find different moves or a sword. You can find different there's like meditation. There's hot springs, which we discovered, made the meme. Excuse me, the meme buns of steel, because the character in here is the bun of steel. But the story itself also is absolutely amazing story. Where the character himself, was a great warrior, and they fought to fend off the Mongolians to keep them from the homeland, but they lost. And his uncle is being held hostage, and he goes on a quest to save his uncle and to rescue him. And the course of your journey to that is that you can go to different regions, you meet different allies, different people, and they help you on your quest. I also love the armors you get in the game, where my favorite armor is the Ronin armor. There's so many different armors you can do. There's some of them that require different aspects, like you have to travel 100 miles or 1,000 miles. You have to walk 1,000 miles, and you have to meet another requirement to level up that armor. I love that. But yeah, like between the story itself, between the combat and the graphics, it's absolutely fun, amazing game to play. I love it. Now, down to the last game. And this was a hard one, but Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, I never removed the price tag on it. But Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, sorry. I've been a big fan of the Ratchet and Clanks for a long time. Probably since the very first Ratchet and Clank game I ever played, which was Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank 2, Ratchet and Clank 3 going commando. Right, I think it's Ratchet and Clank going commando, up your arsenal, and then I think there was a few others. I just can't remember the name of them. Kraken Time, um, but I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. I have them in my collection somewhere. But the fact that it's not just one protagonist you have in this game, you have two. And for the first time ever, Ratchet has to play with a different Clank. Is that they actually get separated in the story. I thought it was going to be Ratchet and Clank throughout the whole story, but with the other Lombax at some point. But no, I love the fact that you have to switch between the two. How Ratchet basically has to go with a different version of Clank, who in her story is that she was built as a weapon, but she, after initially initiating her weapon, kind of like the same way Clank does, she found that she did not like it, and she went over to like a monk monastery and became, just meditated. And anytime she activates it, she feels guilty and bad because she's like, I'm never gonna stop being a weapon. So you follow the story of the characters and how they, and all the characters kind of change in their own way. Clank being gone through all these adventures and he's already learned a great deal. But I feel like the girl, she gets, her and the other Clank gets a massive. You see them change throughout the story massively, where she gets more where the girl gets more confidence, where the other girl, the other Clank, discovers that she can be whoever she wants to be. She doesn't have to be this weapon. And I love, well, every Clank game, the combat is absolutely fun and entertaining. But there's also like a new variety of guns you can play with. There's new abilities. Like each one has a different way of doing things. Each the one girl did not like robots at all. But after she met Clank, this smart and very kind and gentle robot, because in her life she lost her arm and a lot of her friends to robots, and that's why she doesn't like robots. Whereas Clank is like, I am not evil, and he saved her life numerous times. And Clank or Ratchet kind of teaches the new robot being a weapon, is not the all and be all of what you are. And you go through the world, trying to save the world from ripping itself apart, thanks to Dr. Nefarious, of course. I mean, the guy being has such a big brain. How can he always be so stupid? But it also presents a lot of different combat change. Like you can, with Clank, he can not Clank, but Ratchet, he can use the rifts to go from one point to another. I think he also gets rocket boots again. I think. We also see some returns of favorite, like we see the Rhino, the rip you a new one. Although I gotta say, my favorite one was probably in Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal. That one was really fun. And the fact that you have to sometimes go back in time and then forward in time to investigate certain parts of the world. Like sometimes the world is like completely destroyed, then you have to go back in time where the world was not destroyed, and you have to go in back and forth to figure out, progress to the story and progress to the level. I absolutely loved that. Again, the story was absolutely amazing. It's nice to see return of Doctor Nefarious as a villain because he's always entertaining. Um, I can't remember what I think it was on this one, but I can't remember. But I think it was actually betrayed by his minion, and he was like, "I'm not gonna be here anymore. Leave me alone." I can't remember which one it was, but I think he actually was abandoned by his own underling. Not saying something for a super villain. Like, your own underling is like, "See ya." you know. Maybe he should make a mini me. Like Dr. Evil did. Even in Austin Powers, Mini-Me went against Dr. Evil too for a time. Anyway, that's my top 10, guys. Top 10 PS4 and PS5 games. The thing is, is going back to what I said earlier, is there's not a whole lot of PS5 games. Also, guys, when I edit this together, I'm probably not going to cut the footage of me talking about Ghost of Tsushima. So there might be a little loop on that between this point and the previous point. I do apologize for that. I just need bigger. I need a bigger desk at this point. But anyway, there's just not a lot of PS5 games out there right now. There's we're just getting remasters. Like, for crying out loud, we're getting a third remaster of Last of Us Part 1. Yeah. Because the game was originally on the PS3, then they remastered it for the PS4, and then they remastered it for the PS5. And it doesn't make sense to me because the game's playable both on PS4 and PS5, I believe. So I don't know. Like, the only other PS5 game that I'm interested in right now is God of War and Forspoken right now. So there was more PS4 games. There were PS5 games in my top 10. And you guys might be wondering, like, wait, whoa. What about Demon Souls? Yes, I was going to put that in there, but here's the thing. It is a remaster. And I would have to say, it's a really good remaster, but as just like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that even though it's on the PS5, I was looking for games that I had that already were just PS5 and not remasters. Although Demon Souls is up there on my top favorites, even from the PS3 standpoint. Like, if I was bringing back, like, if I was asked a question like, what was your favorite PS3 game that you keep on playing, that you come back to play, I would have to obviously say it was Demon Souls. But I've been a fan of that game since PS3. So if I was asking my PS3, what was your PS3 top 10, I would have to put that in my list. But yeah, this is my top 10. Thank you, Dom, bro, for giving me this suggestion. I hope I was able to make a good video for you. The next video, guys, again, if it's not my Lighthouse video, I will be doing Excess Useless's suggestion video, which is what was my I think it was my all-time favorite game. I think it was like, what game do I play again, or something like that. Hang on. Here's my phone. I think he asked me. Here we go. Comments. Okay, so he asked about what my favorite game is up to this point. So I'm gonna assume he's asking like one game that is my all-time favorite that I play concurrently, because then that would be like a list a mile long for me. So I'll have to see what game I have that I play, that I've played and I continue to play up to this point. That will be our next video if I can't get to the Lighthouse video next weekend. The reason I chose not to do it again this weekend is because of how windy it was. But if there's no wind and it's no storm, no rain, and all that, I'll definitely go and do that video. Again, coming up, let's see, I think it's a week right now. Yeah, so next week, guys, I will be on Thursday. I think I said this on my stream, but I'm saying it again for you guys. On the 15th, I may or may not be streaming. The reason is I have a tattoo. Both me and my sister both have a tattoo appointment. And if it's okay with my artist, I'll see if we can record some of the tattoo session. Just giving you guys fair warning. I'm not gonna be going, yo, what's up, guys? I'm getting tattooed. You know, I'm making conversation and commentary. I'm just gonna be staying very still. Pretty much what I do every single time is I just lie still. I might talk to my artist, but my number one objective is just to lie still. So if you guys are wondering what I'm getting tattooed next, I'm getting this part. Well, probably will top off like right here. I don't know if he's gonna go too far up towards the armpit because that's really painful. But we're gonna go as far. Pretty much the whole bicep is gonna be pretty much covered. Then we'll start working towards the other stuff. But yeah, that won't. That I will may or may not stream on the 15th. Then we'll be going probably back to our normal streaming schedule. Also, guys, you guys do me a huge favor. If you guys like this video, go ahead and give this video a like. You know, like usual. If you guys are like, that's okay too. You guys are absolutely amazing. Also, don't forget to leave me some comments. Let me know what you guys thought of the games I've selected for my top 10. Was there a game in there that you really enjoyed as well? I'd love to hear from you guys. Did you guys have a chance to play Jedi Fallen Order, Sekiro, God of War? I didn't put God of War here. I probably should have. I'm surprised I didn't. Like I said, it was hard for me to limit it down. And yes, God of War would be on my top 10. I just don't think I could. I just don't think I remember to grab it. But like, did you guys have a chance to play Sunken City? Did you guys play Bloodborne? I'd love to read you guys' comments. I read them every single time. I love reading you guys' comments. You guys are, again, absolutely amazing. Also, if you guys have suggestions for videos you guys like to call, not just like video game, it doesn't have to be video game related. It could be anything. Like, what's your favorite anime character? What was your first tattoo? How long have you been growing that beard? Also on this one, I also don't mind saying this. I know Chrome was kind of joking with it, but here's what I'm gonna do. If we hit 400 subscribers, okay, 400, I will shave my head. Yes, guys, you've actually heard it. I will shave my head. A lot of you guys have been asking me to shave my head, and I'll say this: I will shave it when we hit 400. And no, I'm not just gonna buzz it off. I mean, I'm going to have my aunt cut my hair. I'll even have someone record me doing it. I will cut my hair. She will buzz it, and then she will put shaving cream on my head, and she will shave my head. I will be bald for a time when we hit 400. Again, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys are all having a Wookie-tastic day. And again, if you guys have any suggestions for videos that I can, topics or suggestions, I'd love to hear from you guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. I hope to see you again on our next adventure. Till next time, see you all then.